Animations have some of the deepest, emotionally engaging and entertaining but complex stories that captivate the hearts of people through immersive worlds as well as spectacular character writing. From breathing life into comic-style storytelling while retaining the liberty of expressive personalities, to telling a story without the live-action constraints of terrible acting or an insane production budget, animated fiction is able to seamlessly create iconic, memorable, and compelling three-dimensional characters. And these animated stories in particular perfectly execute the 6 aspects of character writing with an incentive, means, and opportunity, the essential stages of writing both complex and entertaining characters. The first being One Piece's driving reward or coercion.
俺はモンキー D ルフィ。お前らを超えて海賊王になる男だ。
First off, characters are imagined people who populate a story. They exist within the imagined scenario or scenarios that make up a narrative to drive the story forward through their actions and decisions. Incentive, better known as motive or motivation, serves as the base of a character, the internal or external force that drives said character's actions and decisions. One Piece revolves around characters in search of the One Piece. It's what the characters want, the goal they set to achieve. The main prospect of reward that motivates its characters into action is the goal of acquiring the One Piece and becoming the Pirate King. And though not every character in its story has the goal of becoming the Pirate King, they have different driving desires, like becoming the greatest swordsman, mapping out the entire world, or cooking the various creatures that span the expanse of the story's 4 seas. On the side of this is the driving force of coercion. Characters in One Piece are also constantly faced with external factors that threaten the sanctity of the characters and their loved ones, like how the world government and powerful enemies like the Marines as well as other pirates impose threats that push characters into action from fear of losing their freedom or the safety of their friends. This acts as a coercive force, prompting them to fight back and overcome obstacles. Characters driven by their goals, while simultaneously driven by overcoming the dangers of their world, shape the entertaining character dynamics that make their journeys through its immersive world all the more compelling. Now, the second incentive that makes up great characters is the wild robot's compelling ideologies.
You do not belong here. This is a wilderness.
And I am a wild robot.
In The Wild Robot, ideology plays a significant role in shaping the individual characters and their interactions with both their environment and other characters within its story. Ideologies are the core beliefs that shape characters' worldview, the beliefs a character develops about the world consciously or subconsciously from their earliest, most significant, and influential experiences. As an AI robot, the main character, Roz, embodies a blend of technological and natural ideologies. Her experiences in the wild lead her to adopt values and principles from nature, like empathy, community, and survival. Brightbill embodies ideologies picked up from his peculiar upbringing with Roz as his mother, while characters like Fink and the rest of the animals embody ideologies based on their survival instincts, place in the food chain, and the individual animal characteristics that make them up. The narrative reflects a clash between these ideologies as Roz learns to navigate her robotic nature while embracing, coexisting, and adapting the instincts and social norms of the animal world, highlighting the impact of one's beliefs on behavior. This, in relation with the various animal characters' ideologies, further enrich the narrative and shows how different perspectives can lead to conflict or cooperation in the quest for survival, making the Wild Robot's emotional narrative such an amazing experience. To finish up this stage, we have Bojack Horseman's heart-wrenching execution of the impact of ego.
And one day, you're going to look around and you're going to realize that everybody loves you, but nobody likes you. And that is the loneliest feeling in the world.
Similar to how ego in human psychology serves as the mediator between the id and the superego by making decisions that satisfy the id's desires while considering the moral standards set by the superego. Ego, in the sense of character writing, is the relationship between ideology and reward or coercion, the beliefs the character holds that a specific measurable reward will bring, or their perceived consequence that inaction will result in. In essence, what the character is pursuing a reward for, adding extra layers to a character's motivation. The characters in Bojack Horseman have motivations that stem from deep into their belief systems, and this shapes the reason for their goals as well as how they go about achieving them. Bojack's nihilistic view of life pushes him toward fame, love, and validation seeking with hopes to fill the void within him. Diane's belief in social justice and equality contrasting with reality leads her to find personal purpose and authenticity. Princess Carolyn's belief in success through hard work drives her to work tirelessly in hopes of gaining fulfillment. Mr. Peanut Butter's optimistic but escapist view of the world result in his search for validation through his relationships and external success. Even Todd, with his carefree look at the world, motivate him to explore life freely without responsibility or structure. This influence of ego on Bojack Horseman's characters is what adds the depth that make them both complex and relatable. As for means, the second stage crucial to a great character's makeup, we have Avatar franchise's well-defined capabilities.
Water. Earth. Fire. Air. Long ago, the four nations lived together in harmony. Then, everything changed when the Fire Nation attacked.
The characters that populate the immersive world of Avatar's story have well-defined skills and/or resources which are integrated into its story right from the very beginning. This story utilizes a well-defined and character-integrated power system from which characters have distinct powers through one of its four elements. They use these powers as the means to further pursue their incentive, and for the characters who don't have these powers, they have skills like smarts, quick thinking, or leadership as their means of achieving those incentives. What really makes this compelling is the capability for these skills and powers to develop as they move towards achieving their goals in the story. The current Avatar fully develops the four elements to efficiently defeat their enemy. Other characters with only a single element develop those elements and learn new ways of applying them, while characters like Sokka with no powers develop their mental fortitude and physical capabilities. So basically, means are essentially what the characters have in their arsenal to achieve goals. The skills and resources characters are born with or have at the point we encounter them in a story, or in some cases, they can be acquired later in the story to make achieving said goal possible. This ties nicely into the second aspect of means. Arcane's beautifully characterized acquired abilities and resources.
Power, real power, doesn't come to those who are born strongest, or fastest, or smartest. No, it comes to those who will do anything to achieve it.
Arcane's characters already have individual skills from the moment we encounter them in the story, like Vi's fighting prowess or Powder's intellectual ability, but the skills and/or resources that actually influence the progression towards achieving their goals come later in the story. I was incredibly impressed with Arcane's execution of its characters' means, as although the characters in this show are based off of their not-so-well-written game counterparts, it still manages to give its characters skills, abilities, and resources that are beautifully integrated into its magical system of Hextech, its characters' original personalities and traits, as well as both said characters, and its story's progression. Vi's gauntlets, which she gets while trying to fight against Silco's negative effects on the Undercity, represent and complement her aggressive and protective personality, as well as her fighting ability. Jinx's Hextech integrated explosives represent her transformation from Powder to the chaotic Jinx, while tying nicely into her intellectual ability. The hammer Jace creates after fully developing Hextech represent his want to bring change and develop the world. The time rewinding Z-Drive echo developed after encountering a different version of the present represent his desire to help and make up for the tragic losses and failures of the past. The Hextech integrated powers Victor gets after his chaotic near-death experience represent his desire to bring order to the world. Also, Mbessa's physical prowess and army, Mel's connection with the Arcane, Caitlyn's customized rifle, etc. Avatar and Arcane execute means not just through their characters, but along with their respective worlds and stories, heightening both the complexity and immersion of the characters. Moving on to the final stage of great character writing, opportunity. This is where all the magic happens. It's where the characterization factors of incentive and means bounce off of the story and plot. For this, we have Dandadan and Look Back Story Integration.
オカルの呪いも解けてるし、あそこも戻ったでしょ。
ナイス。
何が？
弾？
は？
弾がないっす。
I only recently saw both these anime, and although one centers on hilarious antics and the other on deeply rooted themes of creativity, I found similar storytelling through the expressive, dynamic, and stylized animation, and most importantly, strongly plot and story-influenced characters. At any given point within a story, a character is usually acting on or reacting to an opportunity. This may be your general premise, plot, inciting incident, subplot, or, a lot of the time, other characters. It is a specific prompt unique to the world and characters that pulls the core incentives of a character and makes them utilize their means. In the context of Dandadan, a story about characters confronting supernatural entities like spirits or aliens, the opportunity for its characters often stem from moments where they must react to supernatural occurrences or threats. When Okarun and Momo first encounter supernatural forces while doubting their existence, the opportunity comes when they are thrust into situations where they can no longer ignore the paranormal forces around them. Turbo Granny curses, Okarun giving him his powers, while Momo in a moment of desperation is finally able to access her suppressed spiritual abilities. Surviving this encounter causes these characters to stay together as Momo uses her ability to keep Okarun's curse at bay, strengthening their bond as they're forced to utilize and master their newfound abilities. Dandadan's story integrated opportunities continue to influence character dynamics, progression, as well as other main character introductions and development throughout the story. Opportunities also influence less significant characters in the story, as the decisions they make are based on the opportunities they are faced with. In Look Back, the opportunity is more subtle, but just as significant.
今日正午、山形県山形市の美術大学の校内にて、住所不定の男が斧のようなもので学生らを切りつける事件が発生しました。
This story centers on the complex, emotional interplay between two young artists, Fujino and Kiyomoto, and how their lives intersect over the course of their artistic journeys. The main opportunities in this story arise when Fujino faces the reality of an artist far more skilled than her. Again, when she meets this artist, Kiyomoto, and finds out that Kiyomoto is actually a big fan of her work. Also, when Kiyomoto decides to stop being her assistant, and later, when she grapples with the tragic death of Kiyomoto, and she looks back at what could have been if they hadn't met. These opportunities dictate the stage of both characters' arcs in different ways, as Fujiro strives to be recognized as an artist through manga creation, but Kiyomoto strives to perfect her background art and become more outspoken. Each character's incentive and means serve as the story-integrated opportunity that influences the other, allowing for the seamless execution of the story's themes on creativity. In both Dandadan and Look Back, opportunity is not just a plot point, but a deep, influential force that compels characters to react, change, and evolve. For Dandadan, the opportunity is often external. Supernatural forces that force characters into action, testing their bravery and relationships. In Look Back, the opportunity is more internal, driven by personal loss, guilt, and the desire to create meaning through art. These opportunities serve as the turning points where the characters must make decisions, which in turn drive their arcs forward, aligning with their core incentives. I illustrated everything essential to creating an original, complex, and compelling character as a pyramid to give you a better understanding of characters' makeup. But IMO works best as a triangle because opportunity could lead to incentive or means, incentive to means or opportunity, and means to opportunity or incentive, as truly great character writing is when they all work together in the order best fitting for the story being told. The uniquely characterized, expressive, and immersive nature of animation allow for some of the best execution of IMO I've ever seen. It's why animation is my favorite storytelling media, and whether you agree with me or not, check out these videos to understand why supervillains make for the best antagonists, or how anime perfectly represent how not to write dialogue.